What's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here at Disarmy Sports, and the gameplay you're watching is me playing some domination on Swarm in Advanced Warfare. So, you know, my intentions were to do a little throwback video with some Call of Duty Ghosts. You know, me and my friends were, we're a little bit bored, so we figured we'll throw in Ghost. You know, not that Ghost was one of the best Call of Duties that came out, but you know, we decided, what the heck, you know, we haven't played it in such a long time, let's go for it. And you know, at some point we were gonna play some multiplayer. I mean, we did some bots in the beginning. You know, the plan was we are gonna do bots in the beginning, kind of get a little bit warmed up, you know, get familiarized with the game controls again and with the gameplay, you know, because it is obviously very, very much different than Advanced Warfare. You know, we're not hopping around and bouncing around and everything, so kind of wanted to get back into the feel for it before we decided any kind of multiplayer. Unfortunately, there's only about, at least at the time, there were only about 8,000 or so people that were online playing Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, whether that number, you know, how accurate that number is according to, you know, the little map down there at the bottom of the screen that we're all familiar with, whether, you know, how accurate it is kind of up in the air. But you know, when you only got about 8,000 or so people, you know, it was one of those situations where we may have been sitting for a little bit of time just trying to get a match. You would think it would be rather simple and rather easy, but it's actually not, you know, when it comes to that number, you know, that number of people. So yeah, unfortunately, the footage that I had captured, it all got pixelated, corrupted, you know, in the end. The one that I really wanted to use was a knives only match that we did. So what we ended up doing was a 2 versus 2, and the rest were bots. That's pretty much how we ended up, you know, doing our Call of Duty Ghost game night, and it was working out great. I mean, we had a blast. It was a lot of fun, you know, and that knives only match was just hilarious, and I was so looking forward to using that in this week's video, at least in one of my videos this week. And I was going to use it on Thursday. I was going to do like a throwback thing, you know, with Call of Duty Ghosts, but it was just bad. I couldn't even I couldn't redo the render through the Elgato software to where, you know, it would come out better. I was kind of hoping it was just in the end where it compressed everything into the MP4, but unfortunately it wasn't. It came out the same way when I redid it. So sadly, I have none of it left. It was all toast. It was garbage. So, you know, I'm not gonna use it. It's you know, because of how bad it was. There's no point in using, you know, garbage capture. You know, what good is that gonna do me, right? So here we are. We're just gonna use some Advanced Warfare and go from there. You know, maybe we'll get some next week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So what are we going to talk about for today's video? Well, you know, I came across a quite interesting and, well, funny article, you know, to be honest with you, on Donald Trump and his presidential election, or at least running for the nomination and running for president. So I'll get to that article last, but you know, of course, most of us know who Donald Trump is. Actually, a lot of people know who Donald Trump is. You know, he's a real estate guy. He's owned quite a number of casinos, and now he's running for president. And I have to tell you, you know, Donald Trump is probably the most entertaining candidate that's out there. You know, not that none of the other ones, you know, have good points and bad points. I mean, all candidates do, right? I mean, they all have good things, they all have bad things. We agree with some of their stuff, we disagree with their stuff. You know, whether you're straight Republican or straight Democrat or Libertarian, you know, or none of the above, and you just kind of go for the one that, you know, makes the most sense to you. You know, it's one of those situations where, for me right now, Donald Trump is just really entertaining. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm not even saying who I'm going to vote for, because at this point, I honestly don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm still checking all these guys out. You know, all these candidates, you know, I'm listening to them, I'm hearing what they're saying, you know, whether I agree or disagree. with any of their points, but you're going to, you know, it's inevitable. That's really what the political process is all about. You're going to either agree or disagree, and at some point, you know, you're going to pick the candidate that you feel will do the best job, or be the best at the job, you know. And I'm not going to try to get into all the ins and outs of politics, because to be honest with you, that would take forever, because the political system is, well, it's a bit of a mess. You know, we all know it's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of things we could do that can make things a lot better. But so, what is it that is so funny about Donald Trump? Well, we all know him mostly from The Apprentice. You know, so we know, you know, that's probably where he's most notable from. You really didn't hear too much about Donald Trump, unless of course he was, you know, filing bankruptcy for some reason, or one of his casinos is going bankrupt, or he had to sell one, or any things of that nature. That's really about the only time you ever heard about him. But then this television show came up, The Apprentice, and to be honest with you, I watched it. I'm not gonna lie, I watched it. It was entertaining. It was enjoyable. You know, it was funny at times. You know, and you know, especially when he would fire people at the end. But yeah, you know, that's where he's most notable from, is from The Apprentice, and now he's running for for president, or at least he's, you know, trying to get the nomination from the Republican side. So, a couple of articles that I'm kind of going to go over is, there's one, and they're a little contradictory too. Well, I am not going to say contradictory, but one says that, you know, more Republicans are seeing Donald Trump as a winner, a particular poll finds. So there are some Republicans that are increasingly thinking that Donald Trump has the best chance of winning the 2016 presidential election and their nominee. So so that's a little, I don't know if you feel scared about that or what, but that kind of gives you an idea of where things are going. You know, I mean, even with his controversial comments, you know, on immigration and whatever else that he had talked about, you know, the poll found apparently that 39% of the Republican primary and caucus voters viewed Trump as their best shot at winning the presidency, compared with 26% in the CBS survey back in August. Only 15% said they would not back him as the party's standard bearer. So there's that article, you know. And then there's another one that it deals with the Republican debate, where the Republican debate begins, and there's one governor who is saying, let's stop treating Donald Trump like he's a Republican, you know. And this was like, just, they bashed the turd out of Donald Trump in this this debate, which I think, to be honest with you, was expected. So yeah, you know, I'm going to leave a link to the articles in the description. You guys can check it out. Now, the one that really caught my eye, that kind of made me laugh a bit today, was this one, and this was in USA Today. It is titled, "If Donald Trump wins, what country would you flee to?" So I find this really funny about the countries that are listed, and I think some Americans need to go back to geography class, because I really laughed at some of these. So just to throw a few out there, let's see. This was this was done by the digital analytics firm Luminoso. 4.5 million Trump-related tweets from August 7th through September 9th. Okay, and found about 4% of them were people promising to leave the country if Trump wins the White House. Now, here's some of the countries. So 75,000 people said they would flee to Mexico. 69,000 just general, I'm moving if Trump is elected, but no location specified. 25,000 going to Canada, 11,000 to the UK, 6,000 to Australia. Now, let's get this straight, folks. We've got 5,800 people who will flee to Alaska. Now, keep in mind, Alaska is not a country. is part of the United States. So if you decide to flee there, he's still going to be your president. We've got 2,000 to France, and again, here's another one, 1,500 to Hawaii, or how we like to call it here around our house, Hawaii. Hawaii, 1,500 people going to Hawaii. Okay, let's keep in mind geography and all that. Hawaii is not a country. Let's keep that straight. And then there's a few other like Jamaica, Ireland, Sweden, and Brazil, with roughly around anywhere from 1,000 to about 1,200 or so. So yeah, there's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, favorite, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one.